பேர் Amirtha Balakrishnan. நான் Jeyamohan sir எழுதின சோற்று கணக்கு என்ற ஒரு ஸ்டோரி பத்தி பேச போறேன். This story starts off by talking about a man named Kettil Sahib. He was known for his restaurant called Hotel Mubarak in Thiruvananthapuram. This restaurant was an extremely famous restaurant in the area. Rain or shine, there was a huge crowd waiting to taste the delicious food that Kettil Sahib was offering. Kettil Sahib believed he was someone who took extreme pride in the taste of his food. He believed that if one were to handpick all of the ingredients of their dishes, that dish would be filled with flavor and fragrance at all times. And the most unique thing to hear about Kettil Sahib is that he didn't expect anyone to pay for the food. He had a little tip jar almost at the front of his shop, and if you ate at his restaurant, you felt satisfied with the food he was offering, you had the option to put food in the jar or put money in that jar. But he did not force anyone to pay for him. The other thing is, Kettil Sahib was a man who treated everyone equally. No matter who you were, no matter your gender, no matter your caste, your class, anything, you were ensured to have a good meal at the restaurant, to eat your fullest, and you again had no reason to pay, you were not forced to pay. After explaining Kettil Sahib's characteristics, the story shifts to the narrator's perspective. The narrator is introduced as a man who is going through poverty. At this time of the story, he's trying to get his college education, but his family is unable to pay for the education. His dad had arranged for him to stay at his mama and mommy's house and finish his college education there. But the problem here is that his mama and mommy, they were not wholeheartedly accepting of the narrator and did not want to really house him. They were doing it out of pure obligation. And they showed this. They showed this in a very rude manner. After a while where the narrator was staying at his house, the mommy started to ask the narrator to pay for rent, to pay for food. He was forced to help the eldest daughter with her homework. And he was forced to do household chores like washing the dishes, mopping the floor, but not in a way that you would do for your own family, but in a way that you would treat a servant. The narrator, who is already struggling to pay for his college education, was distressed about paying for food and rent at this household too. And this is when the story connects to Kettil Sahib. He comes to learn about the restaurant, comes to learn about how he does not need to pay for food in this restaurant. So he goes, and he is immersed by the food. He loves the food, he loves the treatment he's getting there, and he starts to feel bad for not paying. So he pays. The first few times he goes there, he pays. And he makes sure to go there at least once a meal for a couple of times. And because, again, he's paying for food, he starts to lose money. And he realizes that Kettil Sahib is treating him in a way like a mother would treat a child. He's ensuring that the narrator eats to his fullest, is satisfied, just in a way that a mother would ensure their child is completely satisfied with their food. And he thinks, why would I pay my mother for food? Why would I pay a family member for food? So he stops. He stops paying for food, and until he's finished with college, he does not pay Kettil Sahib one time. And after he finishes college, he lands a reputable job as a professor for some college or university. And the story kind of ends with the narrator. He decides to pay his mom his first salary. He has $16,000 from the chit fund, and he decides to donate that $16,000 in a little tip jar at Kettil Sahib's restaurant. And he decides to marry his mommy's eldest daughter. That's how the story ends. And the reason why I decided to summarize this entire story is because I believe that the way that the narrator is repaying all of these people, repaying them for giving at least one grain of food for him, I think that's what describes the story's name, Sotru Kanakku. The narrator, despite not having the best feelings towards the mommy, ill-treating, he decides to still marry the eldest daughter. And keep in mind that the narrator, his intention was to marry a girl who was well-educated, had a well-respected job. But he decides to marry their daughter, who at this time does not even have a job. he also decides to repay Ketkel Sahib for all of the food that he has ever treated him with. And he also sends his mom his first salary, all showing his gratitude towards people who have taken care of him. This reminded me of the Tamil proverb, "Uppittavare ullalavu ninai," which basically explains the same thing. To think of those who have taken care of you and to repay them at some point, and just to respect those who have taken care of you. And I think that is a beautiful message to think of. Thank you.